Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining this instance of the Antrea community meeting. This will be our last meeting for the month of October. And the agenda for today is the following. We will have a quick update from Antonin concerning test flakiness in kind end-to-end tests. And then let's say a larger presentation, a longer presentation from Jezing concerning migration from, sorry, a tool for migrating from Calico to Antrea. So it's going to be a very interesting meeting, and therefore it's best if I leave more space to the presenters. And Antonin, please go ahead.
Hey, hi everyone. Sorry, Salvatore, I'm having a little bit of an issue with my laptop right now. My browser just froze. Restart the browser maybe.
Cool, no problem.
One tab was fine, and then I opened the second tab and it wasn't fine anymore. Okay, so I need to reopen them and hope it works this time. Okay, I'm all ready. Let me share my screen.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, you should be seeing my browser right
Yes.
now. So I just wanted to give a quick update of something I did a while back. So a while back, I wrote a script to pull results from the latest runs of some of the GitHub CI jobs that we have for Antrea, which run every time the main branch is updated. So every time the main branch is updated, we run kind-based end-to-end tests in different networking configuration with different features enabled, right? We have NCAP mode, NCAP with all alpha and beta features, and we have no NCAP mode, hybrid mode, and maybe one more that I'm forgetting about right now. And so I wrote a script that would pull the results from those end-to-end test runs, and it would kind of like count the number of test failures and try to identify the tests that were failing most often, supposedly because of flakes, because we're only looking at runs for the main branch, right? Not test runs for pull request branches. So typically the failures you would see for the main branch or because of flakes, unless we merge something that fundamentally broke a test, which doesn't really happen very often. And so I shared some results with the team and we thought it was interesting. So what I did is I took some feedback, I think it was from Chan, to kind of like turn it into a regular cron job kind of thing and basically keep track of test failures on a weekly basis. And it's been running for like a couple months now. I think I've gathered results for the last 10 weeks. And so what I do is every week I pull the results from GitHub, and then I track test failures for the last 30 days and test failures for the last 90 days. And for example, this is the most recent one. It ran today, actually, because we're Monday. I think it runs every Monday. Or yesterday, I don't know. And if I click on results 90, which tracks the failures happening in the last 90 days, you can see that we had 102 attempts, 48 failed attempts, which gives us a failure rate of 32% here. And then it gives us kind of like a table thing with which tests have been failing and with which frequency. And we can see, and it tries to like maintain grouping, as you can see. So test Antrea policy, that's the parent test here, and it failed 12 times, so a failure rate of 8%. And within that group, you see that it's actually that subgroup, which is test group, no Kubernetes network policy, which has been failing consistently. And I think that tells us something, right? Because none of the other subgroups under test Antrea policy have been failing at all in the last 90 days. So there's definitely some flakiness with that group of tests. And you can see that it's actually never really the same test failing multiple times, except for this one, which failed 4 times. And so I think there is something like maybe fundamentally wrong with how we set up those test scenarios specifically that could explain why only this test group is failing and why the failures are all over the place and not with a single test case. And then test batch create pod, I think I fixed this one recently actually, so hopefully in a few weeks we won't see that test reported as flaky anymore. And at the end, yes, you just have a different way of looking at the data. You can see that L7 network policy TLS was failing, but we also fixed that a while ago. So if I go back here and I look at the result 30 days, we actually see those ones, but we don't see the TLS test, probably because it was failed. I don't think I've seen it happen recently, right? In the last 30 days, we didn't actually run a lot of tests, but you can see again that this same subtest here has been failing. And I have, it's going to take some time, but I've also been tracking results in that spreadsheet. And so you see that the test failure has been pretty consistent with a little drop. If you look at the 90-day failures, I think that's because we fixed some tests, right? We fixed the TLS1, batch create pods, and so on. And yeah, I think really realistically, I wanted to make the team aware of that script and that repo where I keep the results. But right now, it seems that really the major issue would be that test. So I don't know if someone is already looking at it. If not, we should probably take a look at it just because it's been failing consistently for a long time now, as far as I know. All right, so I told you that would be quick, Salvatore. That's all I have for this. So yeah, you can refer to the results in this repo. I hope that we can find someone to take a look at this test and figure out what the issue is.
Yeah, that's sure. Seems like but I think this is not the first time that you flag flakiness in these test cases, right? I recall that we had this conversation already about 6 months ago or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was more like 2-3 months ago, which is when I
Okay.
wrote the first version of that script, which was a
Right.
very simple bash script at the time. And I said, okay, this test is a problem, and it hasn't been fixed since. Then I worked on that to keep like better track of what was going on. But even that project is kind of I wrote that Golang version of the script 2 months ago, and it's just been running ever since. So we kind of like have a trace of the test failures over time.
Okay, thanks. All right. Do we have a question or comments from Antonin?
Yeah, just want to say thank you, Anthony, for the great work. And for the first failure in the their policy test group, I have created an issue to track it and have been amended several PRs to improve the test to see if there is any more evidence to show what was the problem. However, with my last commit that appending one more message to the test report, I have run it 15 times and it never failed a single time. So I'm still not able to figure out what caused the failure. It doesn't seem like a network policy or on connectivity issue because it seems that the result is not reported instead of run. So yeah, I'm not sure whether Bingyang has also looked at this. He is the current assignee of the issue.
Yeah, I've definitely looked at it. I think and from what I remember, one of the weird issues about the output is we try the probe usually for the traffic 3 times and try to decide the connectivity using the result. However, in some cases we do actually see that the first 2 results is actually a expected one, but the third time when the probe is run, the results looks like some sort of like cutoff. There we don't really get a result from the agent host connect command from the test container that we run. And I think Grayson and I tried to dig into the agent host command source code, and from the source code, at least on the agent host command source code itself, it doesn't really look like this is possible. Like it should, I think, consistently print out some result if a connect command is wrong. So what we were suspecting is that something got wrong in the HTTP or stream level, maybe like maybe some string got cut off for some reason, so that we issued 3 connect commands, but the last one never came, which lead to the Antrea code believing that the third result is a wrong one. I was investigating along this path, but it became too sort of like detailed into outside implementations that I didn't really found anything suspicious at the time. So this is sort of like my state of investigation, and I'm also a little bit stuck on this issue, to be honest. So but since it is still failing pretty consistently, it seems I think I should also prioritize this as well, and try to update the community if there's any new findings, I guess. But yeah, that's sort of my my investigation status up here.
Thanks, Yang. Well, in any case, I presume that we'll need to keep working to make sure that this flakiness is removed, and we'll figure out a solution in the next few weeks. In any case, is there any other question for Antonin? All right, seems not. That was a great report, and we'll probably take a look at the data offline to see if there is anything else not worth in it. And I presume that now we can move to the second topic of today's community meeting, which is the migration from Calico to Antrea, and therefore I will invite Tianjing to go ahead with introducing his topic.
Okay, thanks. Let's show my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, let's begin. Today I will show you a method. My topic is migration from a Calico cluster to Antrea cluster. Today I will introduce a simple way to migrate a Calico cluster to Antrea cluster with a few downtime. Yes, I tried a more complicated way with almost zero downtime before, but after discussing with Chuan, I believe it method with downtime but faster is much better than zero downtime but take a long time. Yes, let's begin. First, I will describe our target. I would like to introduce the target of the migration. We are focusing on quick migration. We don't like there are too many resources. The process are too long and take too much time. If the duration is short, the downtime is short. Furthermore, we will also provide network policy translation between Calico and Antrea. There are customer network policies in Calico and Antrea, which are global network policies and Calico network policies. In Antrea, it is cluster network policy and Antrea network policy. We would like to convert the global network policy to cluster network policy and Calico network policy to Antrea network policy. This is our target, 3 targets. Actually, the first one and the second one are the same. Let's continue. Files to deliver. I think I would like to deliver 4 files. The first one is a user guide for the migration, and the second one is a binary tool for checking requirements and converting network policies. Yeah, it is convenient for us to use Go language to do operations on Kubernetes and the CNI. So this that's why I use a binary tool rather than scripts. The third one is a script for migration, and the last is the source code because we are open source project. Okay, I will show you the steps to migrate. The first step is the check requirements. The migration tools will check all check the requirements. If the requirement not satisfied, and the migration will begin. The second step is deploy Antrea. Deploy Antrea not automatically. The next, convert network policy, and the most important part is kill sandbox. This step helps us to restart the pods on the node in place. And the last 2 steps is remove Calico CNI and remove largest Calico epitable rules. That's the steps. I will show you the details of the steps later. Okay, I'll continue. The first step is check the requirements. Calico network policy supports some fields that Antrea network policy does not. For example, service account selector or maybe service selector. Actually, this feature also can be supported by Antrea, but not directly. For example, we can list the services and get the IP address, maybe, but I don't think it's a better and it's a good way. So, if the user uses some fields do not supported directly by Antrea, the migration process will be terminated just as like this. The binary tool will check in the network policy. The network policy use service account selector. Then the process will be terminated. This is for us to check if the class is okay to migrate. This is the first step, and then if we passed the first one, we could point Antrea to Calico class directly. In this step, all legacy pods are still use Calico CNI, so they are all Calico pods, and the new pods will use Antrea CNI because the Kubernetes use CNI configurations in alphabetical order. So the the Antrea configuration will start with A, and the calico configuration starts with C. So the calico migration configuration will be overwritten by Antrea. That's why all new pods will use calico Antrea CNI. But meanwhile, the calico pods can still communicate with each other. But the calico pods cannot connect to Antrea pods, just like this. Yeah, sorry, I'm not good at drawing. So these green pods are calico pods, and the blue pods are Antrea pods. The calico pods can still communicate with each other, use calico sign. Meanwhile, the Antrea pods can communicate with each other using Antrea CNI. Actually, sometimes calico and calico pods and the Antrea pods can still communicate with each other, but that's not too common. So sometimes in most scenarios, the traffic from calico pod to Antrea pod will be lost. That is because the conflicts of the static IP route and the IP rule of the be forward. This is the second step, deploy Antrea. The third step is convert network policy. As I mentioned before, there are two kinds of network policies in a calico cluster, which is global network policy and namespace network policy. I mentioned binary tools before. I named it Antrea migrator. We can just a temporary name. In this step, all global network policies will be converted to Antrea network policies, and namespace network policy will be converted to Antrea namespace network policies. The output of the converting will be like this. The Antrea migrator will print every network policies and the result of the converted.
Yes, and we are having audio issues. It's becoming difficult to hear you. I don't know if it's a problem with your headset or a connectivity issue.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. My voice is unclear. I will try to use another earphone.
Yes, 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 yes. If you can try and use a different microphone, we can see if it makes things better.
Okay, I will try. Wait 1 minute. No.
No, I'm afraid it's the same.
Maybe you can try to rejoin. Not sure if it's a Zoom issue or your laptop issue.
Hey, while this happens, do you guys know if we got some user requirements and request to write a tool like this to migrate from Calico to Antrea?
That's a good point, and not to the best of my knowledge, but I might be, well, I don't know.
Well, I used the computer phone itself. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
I
much
guess
better. Yeah.
it must be a problem with the Bluetooth on your laptop, likely. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I did not notice the chat box. Sorry. Okay, let's continue. All network policies will be converted into intra-network policies, and the most important.
Jiajing, I think you need to share your screen again.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. After the network policy converting, we come to the steps kill sandbox. This step is just why we need to kill the sandbox is in order to trigger another CNI event so that we can use the Calico Antrea CNI. As we mentioned before, the Antrea CNI configuration will overwrite the Calico CNI configuration. So the new pods are all Antrea pods. In order to avoid rescheduling pods and pulling images, we just need to kill the sandbox and trigger a new CNI event, and then all pods will restart in place. So in order to implement this, I used a job on every node. Yeah, maybe maybe a theme set is better, but I think a job is convenient for us to check if it is completed. So I use a job. Maybe if there are too many nodes in the cluster, we can choose a daemon set. This is a very simple YAML file. We just use the busybox and to kill all process on the node. This is yeah, and there are variable that is node. This is a node name, which means that this there are several jobs around there. There are every node will run a job like this.
By this configuration, will it also kill this job itself and kill the process of the system components like keep API server and Antrea agent?
Yes.
Should we do something more calculate?
Maybe we can avoid schedule this job to the master node, or maybe.
But master node could also run some application, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, should we do it more accurately, like only killing the ports that are managed by CNI, like
Sure.
searching the CNI path?
Yes, I think that may be taken into consideration. But I don't find a good way to check which pods process is belong to which pods. So I just kill all. Maybe we can find a better way.
Yeah, in the current migrator of Antrea, when it's used to migrate cloud native CNI to Antrea, I think there is a script that which at least works for container D. Yeah, I think the only problem is you need to figure out a CRI specific way Antenna D is one, and perhaps if we want to support CRIO, it may be use a different way to store the CNI files. But I think there are just a few backends we need to support. Antenna D, CRIO, and perhaps Docker.
Sure.
Just three, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I will check it after the meeting. Thanks for advice. Yeah, let's continue. This is the pod status while migration. Some workload pods will be completed, and some other pods are restart. Some other pods restart. We can notice that it do not take too much time. The restart. The restart time of the restart time is about 14 seconds ago. So for one pod, it's very fast to restart. That's why we choose this way. Let's continue. On the last two steps, the last two steps is remove calico and epitaples. It's also not too much to see. I just remove the calico from the manifest, and on every node I use Antrea agent to remove the epitables, which contains cali. That means it is a calico. It is a calico IP rule. That's the last two steps. So, in summary,
I think not only epitables, but also some tunnel device and some perhaps some container network interfaces created by Calico should also be removed. Otherwise, there could be some issues.
Sure. Yes, sure. After all pods restart and we deleted the Calico agent, all static IP routes and network interfaces will be deleted automatically. So that's why I just remove the epitables here. But I will check again to find out maybe there are more stale files resources needed to clean. Yes, this is the last two steps. In summary, we just deploy an Antrea CNI to a Calico cluster and run and restart all pod sandbox. So the pod will restart in place and to avoid rescheduling and pulling images. That's much faster than running update. And then we remove Calico CNI. That the cluster will be on an Antrea cluster. And that's the steps. Okay, let me show you a demo. Sorry, what's this? This is can you see my terminal?
No.
No,
Oh,
I
sorry.
didn't see it.
Okay. On the left, this is a Calico cluster with a network policy. This is the Calico network policy that whose name is Tilai Blue. This is a sample, so I don't change the name. It is used to drop the traffic from the Nginx demo set to the Nginx alone. Let me check.
Sorry, am I the only one who's looking at the empty terminal? I don't see any.
Yeah, Yes, that's right. We have a terminal screens divided in two parts, but that's all we see.
Oh, sorry.
This is on the left side. I have a dev kubectl get pod -a, and on the right I have a studios doodle git, but I'm not sure this is what you want to show.
Yes, the right is empty, but the left is a Calico cluster.
Okay. And
Yes.
but the only thing that we see is kubectl get pod -a, and it looks like you have more text which actually is not getting shown.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Judging, maybe you can input something or type something here so we know you are in the same terminal as us. If there's no nothing changed here, maybe
Yes,
you are
I
in
typed something
another
on the
terminal.
left. Can you see it?
No, we didn't see any
No,
Sorry,
new things.
I will share. I will share it again. Sorry,
okay.
is something wrong? No sharing. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Thank you. I closed the red terminal. This is a Calico network policy whose name is delay blue. This one is used to delay all traffic from NGX DS to the NGX Pro alone. Let me check it. Yes, the network policy works well. The traffic is dropped, and then I will do a migration from the Calico to Antrea. The code is here. Here is this is a migration script. It will do the steps I mentioned before. So I will just run it. Can you see the empty terminal on the right?
Yes.
Okay, I maybe I will show you the class status. Now, on the right, this is a cluster, and left, let's go. Yes, deploy Antrea, the Antrea on clusters. In this testbed, I only deploy 5 nodes because of the limitation of the performance. But in my old PC, I deployed maybe I deployed 14 nodes cluster. It works well too. Yes. The Antrea agent is running, and I will create the sandbox killer on every node. Okay, we can notice that all pods are completed or crash look back off. It will restart in place, so it won't take too much time. Antrea is ready. So let's removing the calico singer and removing the epitables of calico. Now this cluster will only contains Antrea singer. We can check the IP address. This is assigned by Antrea singer. Let me check the network policies. Okay, there is also a network policies named delay blue. This is also network cluster global network policies delay blue. Let me check it. The traffic is still dropped by untrusting line. So I think the converting of the network policies is successful. But this is just a sample. There are all kinds of network policies. So we cannot check it one by one. So I just use a simple example to show the network policy converting. And if we delete the network policies, and again, it works well now because of the network policy is deleted. That's the migration. We can notice that the migration, the downtime is about 1 minute. I think this downtime is acceptable. And what's more, the downtime is not depend on the node number of the cluster. I tried maybe 14 node cluster in my own PC. The downtime is also about 1 minute. So I think this downtime is acceptable. Yes, that's my demo. It's a simple demo. Okay, that's all my sharing. Thanks.
Thank you. That was very good. Now it's time for the attendees to ask questions. Do we have any questions?
I do have one quick question if nobody is asking. So along the script, I noticed that when we're trying to do the policy migrator, there was a warning message saying that apparently it's trying to assign a to field for an ingress rule, which is sort of like not allowed in the intra-network policies. But it seems that in the calico network policies, they do have from and to in both ingress and egress rules. So I'm just wondering that is the migrating script not dropping the field, or because from what I remember, if we try to create an ingress rule with a to field, it should actually be dropped by the validating webhook. So did we get a strong sort of like a ignore warning stuff to bypass that, or how did we actually implement the policy transformation? That I was a little bit I was not really it was not clear in the presentation.
Yeah, thanks on the question. I also noticed the warning. I believe it is because the implementation of the converting. I will check it after the meeting and try to resolve it. Yeah, thanks.
No worries. Thank you. I think also since there are, I believe, tons of features in Calico in terms of policy, and also the Antrea policy with all the FQDN, let's say, and the L7 things, it's got, you know, a wide range of array of feature sets for policy related things. So it might be quite challenging, in my opinion, to map everything to the correct policies, which may require quite some work, in my opinion. But if we do believe it's a valuable thing for migration, then we can definitely find some resources to work on it.
Yeah, maybe we can just as Lan's suggestion, we can back up all Calico network policies and try our best to convert the network policies and warning the user before converting, just print some warning and some or maybe also we can print some features that we can support it on the terminal, and for other features we just save we just back up the network policies.
I have a question about in which form we want to deliver this migrator. It will be a script like you already have, or it will be part of CLI tools like and CTL. Do we have any plan on this?
I believe and CTL is better because we need to do some operations on Kubernetes, but I think Golang is much better.
Okay.
And we also need to run some scripts. So I think scripts and sub command of Atcato.
You mean it's better to have an Kato to do this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I see that in the whole design, except for the network policy conversion and the Calico cleaning up, the other part of the workflow is actually generic. It should apply to at least the most thing I write. Like for if it's the original thing it's flannel, there should be no problem to apply this this workflow to migrate to Antrea, right? It may be even simpler as there's no policy concern, as flannel doesn't have its own, and it doesn't even support their policy. Right.
I think I think it's a good suggestion. The general part can be used for other things too. Yeah.
Yeah, I am thinking if there are more requests to migrate from other CNIs, perhaps this workflow could be made generic, and we use some plugin mode to extract the CNS specific steps, like the clean up of a CNI, and share the main workflow and the major part in the workflow, like deploying Antrea and restarting pods.
Okay.
But sure, it depends on whether users really need it.
Yeah. Thanks for the advice. Yeah.
Hi, Jiajia. I have a question. So, apart from the network policy migration, so do we plan to migrate the other configurations, such as the, for example, the traffic encryption settings, or maybe some feature gate mappings? So, do we have a plan to do that?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And I had a follow-up question on, comment on Yang's question. I think if we do network policy conversion, we would need to have like some kind of like dry run mode, where without actually doing any changes, we could iterate over all the policies defined in a cluster and tell the cluster administrator which policies we're able to convert and which policies we would not be able to convert, so they can make a decision about what to do.
Yeah. Okay, a dry run mode is much reasonable because the network policy converting is maybe too much risk. Yeah, thanks for the advice.
Okay, and any final question? So when are you thinking of rolling this deploying? Sorry, when are we thinking of making this available for Antrea users? Should be something for 1.15 or maybe even later than that?
Yeah, I think we plan to have it in the 1.15.
That would be great. That would be great. Alrighty, and so just out of curiosity, this is a probably stupid question, but if somebody's using like an ingress controller for north-south traffic, I believe that once the pods are migrated to Antrea, there should be no issue in connectivity from the ingress controller, right? Maybe there will be some transient, there will be some failures while the pods are getting restarted, but then once all the pods are migrated to Antrea, ingress should keep working as it used before, as it did before, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, sorry. You go ahead. Go ahead, please.
No. I was just saying, okay, please.
Yeah, I just say okay too. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So it doesn't seem that we have any additional question from the audience for today. So therefore, it might be all for today's meeting. I would like to thank Antonin and Jianjing for these presentations, and we'll meet again in 2 weeks' time. Our next meeting will be on November the 7th or November the 6th for those in the United States. Thanks a lot, and I wish everyone a great afternoon or a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.